I'll explain everything now. Yes, I dissected corpses, and doing anatomy, I made a great discovery. Help me, Martha. You'll see everything now, hold on. I examined human organs, and when I looked inside the body, I realized that each person is the whole world. Rivers and streams full of life-giving moisture flow inside it, and what we call the heart, the lungs, are the continents. These are islands washed by the ocean, and in this world, as I believe, thousands of tiny creatures live in harmony with each other. And when I realized this, I made another discovery. You, these guards, this girl, we're all, in fact, tiny creatures living in one single living organism whose name is the Earth. The rivers are the veins along which her blue blood flows. Europe, Asia, Africa, the continents, this is her heart, her lungs. The clouds are the vapor from her breath. Scientists recently discovered that something strange is happening to the Earth. It inflates and then deflates just like a balloon. Geophysicists even suggested that this unusual phenomenon is the real breath of our planet. The periodic table. In the form in which it's presented to us now, this is an outright fake. Mendeleev compiled a conceptually different table. It had the same chemical elements in the same sequence in the same periods and groups, but the conceptual difference between the true periodic table and the modern one is that it contained ether. This is what the real table looks like. The table didn't begin with hydrogen, but with ether. Here it is highlighted in sunny color, because it's ether that is the basis of all elements, and it's from this element, as from the ultimate foundation of matter, nuclei and electrons are formed, and from them in turn, atoms are built. Another example of double standards in science is when scientists assure people that there is no ether, while at the same time they themselves know very well that there is. The classic shifter is Einstein. In his theory of special relativity, he claims that there is no ether, and 20 years later, in his other theory of general relativity, he says that ethers do exist. So basically, ether is a particle of matter about 10th to the power of negative 50 of a meter and below. You can clearly see on this matrix of sizes that everything below negative 50 to the power of negative 50 is in fact the ether. It's precisely such particles in the universe that fill the main space between the stars. And it's through the vibrations of these particles that radio signals between planets and radio signals inside the atmosphere of our planet are transmitted. And that's why the inventor of the radio, Alexander Popov, called the transmission of signals going on the air. The diagram of the water cycle. Well, it would seem that it's such an obviously immutable thing, but even here they managed to confuse several billion people's heads. Remember how you were taught in school? According to this pattern, the water would evaporate from the surface of water bodies, rise into the sky, condense into clouds there, then be carried by the water to the continents and there shed by rain or snow. This pattern does not work, or I should say only its individual fragments work, but they make up only 5% of the entire water cycle on the planet at most. How, according to this scheme, do clouds form over central Russia and in particular over Moscow during winter, when it's negative 20 degrees Celsius, when the earth is covered with snow and water bodies are covered with ice, and when the weather is windless, and besides, it's thousands of kilometers to the nearest ocean? oxygen. Oh, well, I see by the audience that people started thinking about this. Or, remember 2010 when there was abnormal heat in our middle zone of Russia. There was a bright sun, the water bodies were not dried up, and there wasn't a single cloud in the sky for 40 days. And where was this diagram? Take Indonesia. The islands at the equator are surrounded by the ocean. It's 40 degrees Celsius heat. The humidity is maximum. It's ideal conditions for the cloud and rain formation according to the official scheme, but instead there is drought for several months. Well, there is an answer to these questions. This answer was given 100 years ago by our Russian scientists. The main hint was given by Vladimir Vernadsky with his theory of gaseous respiration of the Earth, the meaning of which is the following. Just as a person while breathing inhales one gas mixture, so just imagine you inhaled, and exhales another processed mixture, so you processed oxygen and exhaled. In the same way, the Earth inhales the cosmic gas ether, processes it in its depths, and exhales a different mixture, which is a different composition of the ether of much heavier fractions that can be called geoether. This radiation comes from the bowels of the Earth and turns into water at different levels. In the lithosphere, underground or the magmatic water is synthesized, and in the atmosphere, radiation reaching the level of the ionosphere is synthesized into water in the form of clouds. In the place where the flow of cosmic ether enters the Earth, there is a clear weather and there's an anticyclone. In the place where on Earth a stream of ether comes out and transforms into water, there's a cloudy and rainy weather and there's a cyclone. The diagram of the large circuit of this cycle looks like this. Basically, there's a cycle of energy transformation into matter and vice versa. As you can see, this cycle passes not only through the geospheres but also through the cosmic spheres. It is this path that very well explains the cause of the uneven rotation of the Earth. In those days when anticyclones predominate on the planet, this means that the incoming flow of cosmic ether spins the Earth and it accelerates. In those days when the planet is dominated by cyclones, this means that the outgoing flows of geoether slow it down and it slows down the rotation. Moreover, according to this diagram, it's clear why during anticyclones the Earth's surface rises and ground and underground waters lower, and with cyclones, on the contrary, there's a deflection of the Earth's surface and at the same time the rise of groundwaters. This explains some floods that are disproportionate to the precipitation. In general, according to this pattern, many phenomena become clear. For example, clouds are the same in summer and winter. The appearance of cloud structures as if from nowhere, the formation of clouds in the same place for many years, or the same air humidity before and after a thunderstorm. This can be actually checked by everyone just anywhere. When a thunderstorm comes, check the air pressure. It shows 25 millimeters. When it passes and literally tons of water are poured out, the same humidity stays in the air, the same 25 millimeters. With the fact that the Earth breathes, also agrees Professor Vladislav Lugavenko. The breath of the Earth is a phenomenon that we've been studying at the Institute of Terrestrial Magnetism for about 20 years. The breath of the Earth is essentially an effect of the interaction between the cosmos and the Earth, and is essentially a kind of cosmic flow or cosmic energy that continuously flows from the Sun to the Earth. According to the scientist, the so-called cosmic field is an energy that flows continuously from the Sun to the Earth. The fluctuations of this energy are, according to the scientist, the real breath of our planet. A high-frequency energy, which occurs at about a few dozen of gigahertz and can be measured using fairly simple special transmitters. The fact that the Earth can breathe was first written by a great philosopher Hermes Trismegistus 6,500 years ago. In the book The Emerald Tablet that has survived to this day, the researcher said that the planet inhales cosmic energy invisible to humans, and the fog that rises from its surface is nothing more than steam from the exhalation of the Earth. For a long time, these records of Hermes Trismegistus were perceived as a poetic myth, and only a few years ago the statement of the ancient philosopher received experimental confirmation. Scientists have proven that our Earth, in addition to sunlight, seems to breathe in the life-giving streams of cosmic energy of the universe, and these streams affect not only the life of the planet itself, but also the lives of all its inhabitants. Moreover, Professor Vladislav Lugavenko claims that the breadth of the Earth can be measured both with the help of special laboratory equipment and a fairly simple installation as well. This is a twisting system, which is a thread on which a copper sensor hangs. And this system allows you to record those flows that occur when the flow passes from the top to the bottom and compare it with the degree to which it's directed, and then the report is written to the log. The report is recorded once in the morning and in the evening, and the difference gives us the intensity of the cosmic field every day. The scientist got a whole graph of the Earth's inhalations and exhalations, and then compared these results with catastrophic phenomena that occur all over the planet. And what the scientist discovered came as a surprise even to himself. It turned out that before catastrophic phenomena such as hurricanes, tsunamis, or volcanic eruptions strike the Earth, it begins to breathe nervously. It causes cough of the Earth's breath. It becomes irregular. The Earth kind of begins to cough, and we know how to measure it. So there are a lot of phenomena that are associated with the breathing of the Earth, up to a fog. If there's a fog in the mountains, for example, the Earth's breathing changes. Actually, the breath of the Earth can be seen very well in the mountains. Especially early in the morning, against the mountain's background, there's such a phenomenon, an aura around the mountain. It breathes. Long-term studies of the scientists have shown the Earth breathes, sleeps, and even worries, and this excitement affects its breathing. According to some calculations, the inhalations and exhalations of the planet depend on the time of the day, season of the year, and the geographic latitude. In the middle latitudes, on a summer day, it lasts for 30 to 40 minutes. In the equatorial latitudes, almost constant and rarer respiration is maintained throughout the year. At this time, one exhalation of the Earth is as much as 130 minutes. Moreover, at night, the planet's breathing almost stops, after which the Earth takes its first deep and long breath at sunrise, greedily absorbing cosmic energy. And this is the conclusion I came to. Since the countries are parts of one single living organism, they must live in peace. Oh, well, where has it been seen that the right lung fought with the left, that the liver tried to capture part of the spleen? People will know about my discovery. Wars will stop on Earth, and a golden age will come.